Hello and welcome back to King's Quest 6, Heir Today, Gone Tomorrow. So we're trying to get into the castle, and the guard dogs won't let us in.
I assure you, I am Prince Alexander of Daventry.
And I assure you that you'll not get past me without proof.
Because they don't know that we're really royalty. So we have to prove to them that we are who we say we are. A superstar. No, just kidding. And we have a couple of items that might prove that for us.
Alexander is carrying a copper coin of Daventry. King Graham graces the front of the coin.
And there's a coin from Daventry, and then...
Alexander's ring is made of the purest gold and has the insignia of the royal family of Daventry on its face.
And then the ring. So let's try the coin, see if that convinces them.
As proof of my country, I have this coin. It bears a Daventry mint.
A beggar can own such a coin as well as a prince. This proves nothing.
But the image on the coin's face is that of my father, the king.
Really? Then you must take after your mother. I see no resemblance.
Burn. Alright, let's try the ring then.
Alexander decides to try his royal insignia ring on the guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible proof of his identity that he can think of.
Perhaps this ring will convince you of my identity. It is the royal insignia ring of Daventry.
Ha! I'm sure. Just let me take a look at that ring.
Well, I'm sorry, Your Highness. It's just that princes are so uncommon in these parts. Let me get Captain Saladin.
Quite apologetic now, aren't we, Mr. Guard Dog?
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Wazir Al-Hazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess. Please follow me.
And in we go.
Lord Al-Hazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander of Daventry.
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
Pardon the intrusion, my lord, but I came to see Princess Cassima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordak.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Cassima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Cassima arrived safely and to pay my respects. Before we parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the time, Prince Alexander. However, things have greatly changed for Cassima since her ordeal in Mordak's castle. Cassima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Cassima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it is time for Cassima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Cassima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure you, our marriage is all Cassima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Cassima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days. But it is your neck. You may risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle. Good day.
You have had your hearing with Wazir Al-Hazred. I trust you will respect his wishes and not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding. Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Really?
We are under orders not to let you anywhere near the castle, Prince Alexander. Be gone!
Well, that's unfortunate. It seems that Wazir Al-Hazred wasn't too pleased about me coming here to see the princess. Alright, well, now that we've been there, and gotten pretty much nowhere, let's go see what else we can dig up. We heard about the magic map earlier from the pawn shop owner.
A wood...
So let's see what we can find out about that.
Old lamps for... Good day.
What would you take in exchange for the magic map?
I would need something of great value in trade for this map.
Well, great value.
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
A rabbit's foot. I do not believe I could use that.
Really? I mean, this is a pawn shop. Well, we'll come back to that.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
But,
Excuse me again, sir. You mentioned the princess.
I told you I'm not interested in talking to strangers.
But I'm not a stranger, see?
Determined to learn more about the strange man's relationship with the princess, Alexander shows the man his insignia ring and formally introduces himself.
I'm sorry to insist, but my name is Alexander of Daventry, and...
I appreciate the offer of the ring, Alexander, but I'm afraid I'm already spoken. Daventry? Where have I heard of Daventry? Flying flit mice. You must be Prince Alexander. Cassima told me about you when she arrived home. How came you here?
Why, by a ship now wrecked upon the sand. But you know Cassima? She truly spoke of me?
Yes, I saw her briefly when she first returned home. She mentioned a prince to me, Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm afraid that was before she was told about her parents' deaths. You see, she arrived home a few weeks too late. The king and queen thought they'd never see her again. It is said they died of heartbreak. I'm afraid she's blamed herself.
What a terrible homecoming. If we had only known.
Terrible indeed, poor thing. Everyone in the kingdom seems to despair with her these days. The streets are silent.
Where is she now?
The princess is sequestered in mourning. It's a rather dated tradition, and not required, but the wazir says she insisted out of respect.
I see. You've yet to say who you are, and how you know the princess.
I? Oh, pardon me. My name is Jallo. I am clown to the royal court, and had been since the marriage of Cassima's parents, King Calipham and Queen Alaria. Oh, those were the happy days. The pair of them were so full of joy and life, so in love. And Cassima's birth. It would be hard to explain how long they had waited, how they had hoped for a child. I mean, she was such a charming little thing, smart as a whip, kind and sweet. Oh, she means everything to this kingdom, Alexander, and to me. I'm so terribly worried about her.
About her grief over her parents, you mean?
Well, the truth is, I do not trust the wazir or his plans for Cassima. I'm still living at the Castle of the Crown as court clown, his clown. But it is more to keep my ear to the ground than out of loyalty. I wish I knew what the princess thinks these days. If only I could find Sing Sing, Cassima's pet nightingale. I might be able to send the princess a message. As it is, I must wait for the end of her seclusion. Now I'm afraid I must hurry back to the castle. I'll try to return to the bookshop again later.
Thank you for speaking with me, Jallo. I hope we meet again soon.
Alright, so now we have a little more of what's going on. Jallo doesn't seem to trust the wazir either, and to be honest, he doesn't seem like a very trustworthy fellow. The wazir, not Jallo. As you may have noticed, we can actually follow Jallo all the way back to the castle, but we're not going to do that because there's really nothing to see there.
Old lamps!
Shut up. There's really nothing to see. He just walks back to the castle and the guard dogs let him in, and they don't let you in. So, now that we've talked to him, let's see what we can do
Old lamps for...
up about acquiring this magic map.
Good day.
There's really only one thing that we have of great value in our possession, and that would be this ring. Kind of a shame to trade it away, really, but...
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. Ah, and a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind, and I'll remember about the map.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
That's interesting.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained, just reprieved. He just got a magic map.
You fool! You've been eating those mints again! I ordered you to stop that!
Yes, Master.
Now, what is this about a magic map?
With the map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can.
I thought I took care of the only means of travel. By my scimitar, I can't have him stirring things up now. Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
Aha. So the wazir indeed cannot be trusted after all. And the man in the concealing black cloak is his own personal genie. Alright, well, there's one more thing we can do here before we leave. Since our copper coin isn't really going to be of much value for buying things in this land, we can trade it in for something.
I have this copper coin. Is it of any value to you at all?
Most interesting. I have never seen a Daventry coin before, but it is copper genuine enough. I might even find a buyer who is interested in foreign currency. The items on the front counter are the only things in the store that I can let go for the price of 1 copper. You may make your choice from there.
Alexander looks at the items on the counter to make his selection.
Alright, so if you remember from before, we have a tin nightingale, a flute, a paintbrush, and a tinderbox. And for right now, we're going to go with the nightingale. You remember, Jalo mentioned a nightingale that Cassima owns or has befriended, one or the other.
That mechanical nightingale looks intriguing. I believe I'll take it.
Very well. Your coin is well spent. Remember, this is a pawn shop. I am always willing to take back my own goods in trade.
I'll remember. Thank you.
Alright, and now let's go see what we can do with it. Oh, lamp seller is gone. Aha.
A nightingale perches on a high branch of the tree. She sings the most beautiful song Alexander has ever heard.
I think we may have just found our nightingale.
Hello, nightingale. What a lovely tune you sing.
The nightingale only looks at Alexander suspiciously and continues to sing.
Hello, nightingale. What a lovely tune you sing.
The nightingale only looks at Alexander.
Let's see if we can coax him down out of there. Or her.
Alexander winds the mechanical nightingale and places it on the ground. The mechanical nightingale sings a sweet, tinny tune. The real nightingale in the tree cocks her head and listens intently. The nightingale flies to a lower branch and looks at Alexander curiously, as if she were deciding that this human might not be so bad. The nightingale sings her crystalline song in the boughs of the old tree. The nightingale looks at Alexander curiously, as though waiting for something.
Hello, little nightingale. Of what do you sing?
The nightingale only looks at Alexander curiously and continues to sing.
Well, that's interesting. Waiting for something, apparently. Well, for right now, let's head back. Aha! What have we here?
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Tiny little ink bottle, eh?
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty. Alexander shakes the bottle and imagines he hears a faint swishing sound, but decides he is mistaken.
Let's open it, find out what's in there.
Alexander decides to open the empty ink bottle.
It's stuck. It's... Whoa!
Well,
The ink bottle isn't empty at all. It's full of invisible ink. Not very strong, but not bad.
invisible ink. What a wonderful play on words. Alright, let's head on back to the beach. Since we now have a means of travel around this island, around this land rather, we're gonna pop around to some different places and see what we can find. First of all,
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
we're already on the island of the Crown, so let's go to the Isle of Wonder.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation. Alexander is standing on a rocky beach. To the north is dense tropical vegetation. Near the shore are a dozen or so oyster beds. To the north, the island is dense with vegetation.
Oyster beds, eh?
One of the oysters is sitting up in bed and doesn't look very happy. He seems to be the only one who can't sleep. In the oyster's mouth, Alexander can see a glint of white.
Glint of white, eh?
Why aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
What's this little thing?
A string of letters floats in the water. The letters spell out, "Where are you going?" Alexander's heard of alphabet soup, but this is ridiculous.
Well, hey, it is the Isle of Wonder. Ferryman said you have to have a good sense of humor to enjoy a visit here.
The ocean is not as calm as it appears. Underwater currents tug at Alexander's legs. Alexander wades deeper into the sea to get the strange object in the water. The underwater tow is amazingly strong here. It pulls ferociously at Alexander's legs. Before Alexander can retreat, the currents grab his legs. The shifting sand vanishes from beneath his feet. Against his best efforts, he is dragged out to sea.
Well, I guess that wasn't such a good idea, was it?
The currents around the island pull Alexander under. As Alexander struggles to the surface for the third and last time, he finds himself wishing he'd paid more attention to the warning signs of an undertow.
Tickets up. Next.
Nothing like getting swept off your feet.
Indeed. So, that wasn't such a good idea. So let's deal with this oyster. She can't sleep. Ah. now the string of letters happens to be a little closer.
Alexander picks up the object floating in the water. It appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete.
Incomplete it is, isn't it? Now, sorry about that. Now, let's see if we can help out this little oyster. She can't sleep, and she's got an ache in her mouth that has to be removed, and in order for her to be able to fall asleep again. So let's see if we can get her to open that big mouth of hers a little wide so we can take a look.
If you're having trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Hey, that would be great!
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
There's a large pearl inside the oyster's mouth. Perhaps the pearl is what's keeping the little fellow awake.
Uh-huh.
Yields a gilded minnow of precise measurements, 2,069 centidrills by 3,023 6/7 puns, not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense whatsoever, that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Hey! You fixed my mouth! It feels great!
Ah, the little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
Well, isn't that cute?
The little oyster is sleeping peacefully now that Alexander's removed the irritating pearl.
Excellent. Well, now that we've taken care of that little problem, let's go see what else is on this island.
Alexander hears someone coming.
What have we here?
5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If man it be, then man it dies.
What?
Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
A gnome with a huge nose stands before Alexander. 4 gnomes stand waiting in line. 4 gnomes stand waiting in line.
Okay. I guess they want me to give them something. Not sure what exactly I can give them, though.
Alert, my brothers, as we feared. A man has landed here. A man, so say our nose. Into the waiting sea he goes.
Oh dear. This can't be good.
The gnomes toss Alexander too far out into the sea for him to get his footing. The currents drag him under.
Well,
Tickets up. Next.
Guess those gnomes couldn't reach a consensus.
I think they've reached a pretty good consensus. So, I guess I won't be getting anywhere on this island quite yet. Let's pop off to another one then, shall we?
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Okay then. Guess we won't be getting very far here either.
Alexander notices an unusually large coal-black feather lying on the beach. Alexander takes the feather. There's an ugly flower growing near the base of the cliff. Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment he can smell nothing else. There appears to be something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
Ignorance kills and wisdom elevates.
There appears to be no way past the cliffs. Though roughly hewn, the cliffs do not provide regular handholds for climbing, and they seem otherwise impenetrable. The granite cliffs cannot be scaled by hand.
Well, that's rather unfortunate. Okay, I guess we'll...
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Oh, look, a little deer.
A little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea. The fawn is too busy eating to pay attention to Alexander. This heavily forested isle is dotted with rough granite rocks. Alexander is standing at the edge of the sea on a heavily forested island. As far as the eyes can see, tall trees spread out their branches as though straining to link arms, their tops forming a canopy above. A path leads north through the forest.
All right. Oh my.
A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
Ouch! That water is hot.
Guess we shouldn't try this, but, why not?
Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond.
Yep.
And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew.
Tickets up. Next.
It looks like Alexander's in a bit of a stew.
Well, the wazir was right. The islands really aren't that hospitable, are they?
An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods.
Alright, well, we've gotten just about as far as we're going to get on any of these islands. So let's head back.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
It's pretty much the only place we could actually be safe on around here. At least we have picked up a pearl, and that pearl should be valuable enough for us to trade back in for our ring. So let's go ahead and do that.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Good day it is indeed. Good day to die.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Sweet. Alright. Now, to take care of this nightingale. Jalo mentioned... Let's see if Jalo's come back yet. I don't think he has, but... No.
Hello.
Jalo mentioned that the nightingale...
No.
Sing Sing... is Cassima's nightingale. So, presumably it has some contact with her. So let's see if we can get her to let Cassima know that we're here.
Alexander holds out his insignia ring to the nightingale, hoping she perhaps is the nightingale that Jalo spoke of, and that she might be able to take the ring to Cassima. The ring is the one thing he has that might alert Cassima to his presence on the Isles. The nightingale swoops down and grabs the ring.
Look at that snake with the golden eye.
She flies off towards the castle, perhaps to Cassima.
Sing Sing, what have you got in your mouth, my pretty? A gold ring? Sing Sing, where did you get this? Realm of Daventry. But this is Alexander's ring. Oh, my soul, he must be here. Sing Sing, I wish you could tell me what you've seen. Is he really here then, on this very island? Oh, if only I could leave this castle as easily as you. Take this ribbon, Sing Sing. If you know where he is, return it to him. Please be careful, Alexander. It is so dangerous, and yet I could not wish you away.
Well.
The little bird makes a delivery. The nightingale has dropped a bit of red velvet on the ground. It's a red velvet hair ribbon. Could it be? Could it possibly belong to Cassima herself?
Or am I merely wishing it were so? Oh.
The lady's hair ribbon is made of the finest red velvet. A long strand of black hair is caught in the ribbon. Alexander examines the red ribbon and finds a strand of long black hair. The strand of hair from the red ribbon is the color of midnight. Alexander can only hope that it belongs to his true love. The strand of black hair is thick and still bears a trace of perfume.
Okay, so apparently the wazir has been lying to us about several things. Not only does Cassima not want to wed him, but she really does want to see us. Unfortunately, we are not going to be able to make it into the castle. So we'll have to try our luck on the other islands. See what we can learn about them. See if we can find some way of getting ourselves to Cassima somehow. Alright, so let's head back to the Isle of Wonder.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
As we know, we have some guards here that are not too happy with us being around. But let's take a try and see if we can get past them.
Alexander hears someone coming.
Yeah.
5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If man it be, then man it dies.
Watch for a foreign man, said he.
Old Tom Troll, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well.
Well, apparently, the genie sent these guys here to deter me from being around. Well, if this guy's smell, as I can tell from his gigantic nose, let's see if we can mask my smell from him.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome with the jumbo nose.
Tom Trow I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all, and nothing more.
That's gross.
Listen, hark you, Grovenor. Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
So indeed, these gnomes seem to represent the five senses.
Alexander winds the tin nightingale and plays it for the gnome with the monumental ears.
A nose is not a way to spy. My ears cannot be told a lie. A nightingale is all there be. No man is near, and so say me. Taste, Grump, that we might know whether friend or whether foe.
Taste, eh?
Alexander holds the mint out for the gnome with the gigantic mouth.
Grump knows a tasty treat. It matters not what others bleat. No danger is this one so sweet. Trilly-dilly, use your hands. Is it beast or is it man?
Well,
Alexander holds the rabbit foot out for the gnome with the huge hands.
Be all you mad? What aileth thee? A bunny can't trill merrily. A hare does not at all taste sweet. A rabbit here is all we greet. Old Bill Batter, never fatter, vision can resolve this matter. Look you now, and end this chatter.
vision. Oh dear. Well,
Alexander pours the contents of the empty-looking ink bottle over himself.
By all that's beauteous, fair, and sightly, 4 morons do I sleep with nightly. There's nothing there at all, I say. Enough of this. Let's now away.
Alexander did it! He's fooled the guards!
well, there you have it. Unfortunate. It doesn't really make sense that they wouldn't come back, but that's very fortunate for us. So, we now have found our way past the guards on the Isle of Wonder, and we'll set about exploring this place when we come back. Until then, thanks for watching. Bye.